Oh my god, this game, man. I watched Asmund play this game, and I think Lumi as well, and they both were not pleased. Yeah, this is not it. This fucking game. Alright, I'm ready. Woke devs cater to the modern audience now that their game failed and the cope is hilarious. At least we own the chuds. If your opening statement is stating how much you own someone, you're not owning. You're an idiot. Like, I don't know, man. It's the biggest fucking faddish cope ever.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So it might only be March, but at this point, it's very clear that 1348 Ex Voto is a frontrunner for flop of the year. It's only been 3 days since its release, but since then, the experience can only be described as a slow-moving car crash that is very deserved for a project like this that leaned so heavily into activism and owning the chuds. In fact, during these 3 days, we've been able to step back from this disaster and really appreciate not only the shortcomings of this game on its face, but also get to witness the seething and coping from activists, journalists, shills, and alike who are still trying to prop up this turd as something that is salvageable and actually really good and something that we need even more of. Now, this game had modern audience written all over it, right? The main protagonist is a lesbian knight in a medieval setting with a bowl haircut, trying to save her damsel in distress, and it checked all the boxes for the journalists out there. So the question became, will the modern...
You know what's really sad is that the voice actress for this character is, what's her face? From Baldur's Gate. She's a really good voice actress. Yeah, and like, I really liked her voice acting, and I watched like a good hour or two of gameplay. The graphics are honestly astonishingly bad. Like, worse than Witcher 3, and Witcher 3 came out in like, what, 2018 or 17? Yeah. Jen English, really? Yeah, she's really, really good.
Audience show up when it was releasing on March
2015?
12th,
I thought it was
because
2018.
So many viral tweets out there were not only supporting this game, but claiming they were looking forward to its release. Now, of course, a lot of you already know the answer to this question: did the modern audience show up? Well, I guess this is what the modern audience looks like, ladies and gentlemen. I love the modern audience. They're so supportive. 133 concurrent in-game players on the 3rd day since its release.
How much money did they put into this? It's not even a small indie, like, little project, man. No.
An absolute flop. In fact, it peaked at about 427 total in-game players. What? A massive disaster. To give you some perspective, here's Stellar Blade, right? Its PC release came out 9 months ago. This is a single-player game, right?
And it was a PC release, and it already came out, so most people had already played it on the exclusive on the console. Like, it's not even comparable. That's insane. Most people have played it already.
And it's sitting at 2,700 in-game players right now. That is the comparison points that really shows you how bad things are for 1348 Ex Voto. But wait, be careful when you're using Steam charts for games like Ex.
Guys, don't look at the numbers. They're not actually real, and it makes me feel bad.
Ex Voto or Marathon for that example, because ex-Kotaku journalist Alyssa Mercante took...
Isn't she working as a waitress or some shit? Yeah. No hate to waitresses or waiters or anything. I'm just saying. I thought she had better things to do, like affording groceries or something.
Took a break.
She's still suing
from her
GT.
current lawsuit with Smash
sad, dude.
JT
That's
to
sad.
leave this absolute banger on Blue Sky. Basically saying people...
According to people who play the game doesn't even have the two main female characters get together. What was the fucking point? The gameplay itself is awful. I remember when we raided Lumi into playing this game, I raided Lumi, Kaneko Lumi, and she was trying out the game, and I think we were at the part where she was saying that the fire looks awful, like she's in the burning village or something, or the burning castle, and I was like, dude, it looks awful. Like, who made this crap? Like, indie developers do a better job of this shit, man.
Steam
Maybe
charts
it is
are
an
not
indie,
only
but like, it's
smelly,
just awful.
they're also the
doing,
type
man?
of person who would try to drug women. And
So if I've ever used Steam charts, I'm a date drug R-worder. Like, I'm an assaulter. Okay, interesting.
and assault them. Yeah, apparently if you use Steam charts for your data,
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
you're a potential criminal.
Yeah,
According
that
to
makes
people like
sense.
Alyssa Mercante. Totally unhinged, by the way. But yeah,
No,
the
that's
story
normal.
with
That's normal for her.
1348 Ex Voto is very simple. This is a game that really existed to impress a bunch of activists. It didn't exist to impress gamers. It was a
No.
very niche story that did not pan out well. The game itself is an absolute disaster. And to make matters worse, they really leaned heavily into
And it's sad because, like, there are so many games that have lesbian relationships. Like in Baldur's Gate 3, there's the Angel, whatever the hell. I'm bad with names, but I played the game. I played it like 3 times over. It's the character that you save at the end of like Act 2, and she's an angel or whatever, and then she's got a lover that's a woman that's a priestess. And like, that's fine. Nobody fucking cares. Like, nobody fucking batted an eye at that. There wasn't like any outrage over it, and people didn't get mauled the fuck out publicly. This game is unironically just fucking ass. And they're hiding behind it being like, oh, well, you don't like it because there's lesbians in it. It's like, that's not why, you fucking ding-dong.
the activists. They even tried to attack Knight's Path, which is a game in the same genre that's going to be coming out somewhat soon.
Oh, that's gonna work
and
out
they
well.
lost that battle immediately.
Uh-huh.
They picked the fight, and they got absolutely humiliated. At the end of the day, all they could do to promote this game was lean on the fact that it has a very progressive storyline. Turns out people don't really care about that. And ever since the release on the 12th, 1348 Ex Voto on its once very smug and active Twitter account has been completely silent and just taking a beating. However, fans and activists who supported this game, both from near and afar, have been mourning the fate of this game, including users like this saying, I'm so sad about the...
But did you buy it? I will never know for certain. I want to see if this person actually bought the game. Did you buy the game? Link your Steam profile. Make sure it's like the same name as this or whatever. Like, have an identifier. Just tell me if you bought the game and if you actually liked it. Yeah, those people don't buy games. No, of course not. No, it's just easier to complain and be like, you just hate it because it's got lesbians in it. It's like, no, nobody gives a fuck, you ding dong. This is not a good game.
lesbian night
No,
game.
you're a
Unironically,
hater.
okay? Right, this person is sad about the
Criticism.
failure of 1348
not
Ex
allowed.
Voto getting 4,500 likes, which, as pointed out by
Insane.
this individual here, this post has more likes than people playing the game. In fact, I will go even further. That tweet has about 10 times as many likes as the all-time player concurrent counts it ever achieved. So it just shows you the activism. The slacktivism is the better term here, because these people will make viral tweets, people will like these tweets, but never actually go out and support the game.
Nope.
Many,
'Cause it's easier to
many
complain
such
on
cases.
Twitter.
This is an
it
example
doesn't
of
cost
someone
money.
showing up.
You
Who
might
did
even get
show
money
up?
for
The
it, to be
modern
honest.
audience. Who is the modern audience? Very few people in reality, right? The modern audience is represented by activism, not actual participation in
Yep.
the projects they
Yep.
claim to support. Here's another quote, this time from Endymion, saying, B1348 Ex Voto, make fun of Knight's Path, their competitor. Game releases and it's garbage.
That's a
Even
rip
supporters can't
bozo
defend
moment.
it. Game ends with 2 lesbians fighting. We'll get back to
They
this.
didn't even like fall in love or like have a good story. Oh no! What?
point in just a second,
Bro.
but overall, that whole concept of this being a game focusing on a lesbian relationship is something games journalists are still hyper focusing on, even in the aftermath of its disastrous release. And understand and keep in mind, people who support the game are referring to it as the lesbian night game. That's not just people making fun of it. Even support.
Oh, but then you're not allowed to say it. It's the lesbian the lesbian night game if you don't like it. It's like, what? Make up your mind, man.
Supporters are referring to this game with such a title. However, games journalists are doing what games journalists do best, and that is try to spin the narrative. Where this article says, I've got a bone to pick with the internet. Specifically, the corner of the internet that's very angry. 1348 Ex Voto exists. You see, all this time I've been on...
Yeah, I want them to make good games. Why is it a crime to want to have studios not waste their time making games for people that don't play them? Because those game devs, by the way, those game devs that are like coding or like doing the sound design and stuff, like, they could be better off doing other things. Have you ever thought about that?
Ironically referring to it by its alternative title coined by its earliest detractors, the lesbian night game, which is very funny. We know this is a lie. It's not just people making fun of it. Even supporters are referring to the game under this title, and also nobody's angry that this game exists. People are making fun of it. It is trying to pander to the modern audience. It has no substance beyond that. And even, as we'll see eventually,
the lighting, and I don't know what this is called, I guess the rendering or whatever, is awful. Like, awful. What is this hair? I've seen games from 2016 have better, like, I don't know, what is it called? Like, hair detail?
Even supporters and games journalists have to recognize that this game is an absolute disaster.
UE5 slop, you can say that all you want, but Expedition 33 is also made on Unreal Engine, was it not? Yeah. Like, are we serious? Like, I know it's a meme. I know, like, haha, UE slop, but, like, there's plenty of games that have done, like, good stuff with UE5.
When it comes to quality of not only the gameplay, but the story as well. But seeing this sort of discussion here and reframing of the truth and hyperfixation on the lesbian romance, it makes a lot more sense when you realize this is the article it's coming from PC Games N, saying 2026's lesbian night game 1348 Ex Voto is short on lesbians. 1348 Ex Voto has been under fire for its quote-unquote woke protagonist since the demo dropped, but it turns out it actually isn't gay enough. Wow. Stunning.
You get what you fucking deserve. This is the audience you wanted, and they're not happy with you.
And brave article. They're saying that it needed to have even more romance. In the article itself, they basically say a lot of it is more
I'm more set on the gameplay and the appearance, but like, you do you, man.
In-your-face romance. And according to the author, this is not enough. They want more. And just like with the article explaining some of the content, the author of this article explains what we're reading. I mean, just look at the bio of this individual. Like, it all makes sense why they're pushing this sort of an angle. It's
queer,
not even
northern,
like, remotely
loud and
subtle.
Proud.
But let's go back to the article, right?
What does northern mean? Like, you live in the north?
And the fact that medieval records of lesbianism are scarce, but we know that they existed. Oh, right. Hey guys, have you ever heard of this before?
Yeah.
Where there is a very rare anomaly during a period of historical time, and someone tries to make a game based on that, focusing on the anomalies and the rare occurrences of that historical time period, and it doesn't work out. Does that sound familiar? It should, because
look at that smile, man. The African samurai with his gay lover. Look at that face, man.
It reminds
He's
me
so
of a
happy.
certain bisexual African samurai named Yasuke, who liked to shag non-binary samurais.
And this is a side quest too. Yeah. The animations, like the animation facial expressions are so funny in this game.
Yeah, they did the exact thing that this author is acknowledging for 1348 Ex Voto. They took something from a historical time period that was an incredible anomaly, an African samurai, for example, and then they used it and tried to insert it into its own agenda and make the entire game about how unique it is given the environment the game is taking place in. But, I give credit to Assassin's Creed Shadows, despite, the many failures of this game and the fact that it basically tanked Ubisoft or really helped bring them to the cusp of the end. They're still sitting at 5,000 in-game players right now.
And they have their own launcher, too. I think the launcher does run on Steam, so I'm not sure. But, I mean, I don't know. It's still more than, like, most games.
This game
is
certainly
AAA,
a lot
though. That's
more
why it's
active
not
than
good for them.
1348 Ex Voto. Not that it was ever a fair comparison, but they would pretty much do anything to even have this sort of a number on their release, but they never even came close. In fact, at this point, if I was the developers of 1348 Ex Voto, I'd be trying everything in my power to get a nice, like, DLC featuring Assassin's Creed Shadows or something, just start crossing up the lesbian knights with the non-binary samurais, have a whole shindig, a whole box-checking shindig, if you will.
Why did they make
let's talk about that romance in 13.
I would expect this from, like, a beta build.
48 Ex Voto, right?
What is this?
Whatever happened? Like, what was actually the final tail end of this story? Well, as pointed out here, quoting the last post made by their official account, apparently the game ends with the lesbian couple trying to violently off each other. What did the developers of this game
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble. And I don't want to be in big trouble.
Mean by that? I have absolutely no idea. But let's continue on here, right? There's something to really add salt to the wound. In fact, this is one of many things that do such an act. This person points out that after you finish that scene, right? The cherry on top is that you can't skip the end credits, but you can skip over every other cutscene in the game.
For a story-heavy game that's based on relationships, that makes no sense. I'm not gonna lie. Like, even when I played Final Fantasy XIV, there were some unskippable cutscenes because it's like, it's really important.
Only thing you can't skip over is the credits. And there's
I don't get it.
Chapter replay, there's no new game plus. If you start from the previous save file, you're in the final checkpoint of the final boss. So you can't research for other trinkets or treasure. There's no combat dummy practice mode, no replayability features, nothing. The developers, as this person says, did they even play test this?
No, probably not.
I will say, the new screen looks nice. Hey, there's something. The best thing I can say about the game is that the environmental artists have a future. You know what? That is one thing I have noticed from this game.
That's good. Maybe they can go somewhere else.
Very good detail with the environment. So the people who are responsible for that, you get a clap from me. It looks nice. Hopefully you find
everyone else, welcome home.
Project to work on that will do a lot better, because I guess it really did disservice with the buggy gameplay and the terrible storytelling that was accompanying.
Yeah, I watched when we played in Aspen.
But all of this is really reflected in the reviews as well. It's not just the poor numbers, ladies and gentlemen. It's also the reviews. You can see on SteamDB, to the chagrin of Alyssa Mercante here, you can look and see it has around a 50% rating from reviews. And it has nearly 500, so it's not like it's nothing, right? It's a pretty sizable chunk of people. And if you want to know how bad things
Wait, why is it already on sale for 10% off? Already? It was $25, that was $23? It just came out. Introductory offer? Is that common? I don't even know if that's common or not. That's a normal Steam thing? Okay, I wasn't sure. I was like, damn, this just came out.
If you really want to know how bad things are for this game, one of the top reviews on the community tab here says this: "Never in my 28 years of gaming have I found something that feels like a sloppy alpha version of a bad game that was handled by a pack of drunken, dry beavers. No one, and I mean no one, probably knew what to do, and they watched a couple of bad tutorial for UE and decided, I'm gonna make a lovely game about a girl knight with dead eyes and teeth from Attack on Titan. $20 is $30 too much for this game." And this would get 440 reviews.
That's almost as many people that fucking left the review.
Marked as helpful. 440 people would find this review as helpful. 440 being more than the all-time concurrent player count for this game. That is how savage the situation is. And
Look at all those
even
updudes.
the person who made the initial tweet sad about the failure of this game, even people like that, even the supporters, recognize that the PC release of this game is an absolute buggy disaster.
Yeah.
In fact, this is one of the funniest things I saw. The devs were so lazy, they didn't even make a fall death animation. The screen literally just cuts. Watch this. It literally just cuts. It almost looks like you're going into a cutscene, like you did something good, because it ends so abruptly with just a black screen. You think you did something good at that point, but it's just laziness at this point. And to add more salt into the wound, I said there'd be more, as pointed out by Smash JT here. The Italian government, based on public records, gave
no.
650,000 euros in tax credits to the development team behind this.
It's literally another fartborn, dustborn. Banger alert! Uh-oh! I wish I went to some freaking Neats or something. That would make me feel better. At least they spent it on fucking Taco Bell.
I feel like sometimes I'm just in the wrong business. Like, if I want like a really nice vacation, I should just make a very progressive game and put it in like a really beautiful scenic part of the world and try to get some write-offs.
I'm sure they spent all of it on the video game too. That's the sad part, because it does cost a lot of money to make a decent video game. Yeah, like even a half-assed one, decent one, like yeah, they brought it to light, but like holy fuck.
And
bro, fix my road? Yeah,
really coaxed,
like what the fuck
maybe,
are we doing,
maybe
man?
crowdfund the entire thing, because that seems to be the ultimate way to spend your time in a very leisurely way, because at the end of the day, I guess who cares about the product if you're getting all these benefits in the meanwhile. But things are so bad, even the aptly named Gaming Bible would give this a 30
Gamer alert.
on Metacritic, saying it does sadden me that the game turned out this way, as I fear a certain dark corner of the internet will use this game's negative reception to push an unwarranted agenda. Namely, that the game's failure is tied to the assumed relationship of the two female leads, which, of course, is not the case. It's difficult to overlook 1348 Ex Voto's flaws, though. While there are some charming performances on display, it's ultimately let down by a dull and problematic combat system and poor optimization that doesn't really give you any incentive to push on with what is, sadly, a slog. Yes.
I watched Asmund trying to play the tutorial, and we all know Asmund fucking sucks at tutorials and whatnot, but even to me, like, I was like, man, it feels pretty fucking clunky. Like, I'm just watching it, and that's a pretty good judgment for, like, you know, like, playing it and watching someone play it is different, but, like, you can just tell that it's not very good.
So the Gaming Bible seems very mad about people making fun of the lesbian relationship, which is pretty ironic. But also, overall, even the journalists could not support this game. It has a 54
They're like, damn, this
on
freaking shit
Metacritic
sucks.
among the critic reviewers. And among user ratings, it's sitting at a whopping 1.1, which seems like 1.1 too
many.
Now, of course, we can't forget about the fact that this game picked a fight with Knight's Path, with this subtweet saying don't forget to wishlist and note the release date on your modern agenda, which was a...
Did they show up, though? Did they show up? I don't know. I'm starting to think they didn't.
Clear shot at Knight's Path, a game that is in the medieval genre as well.
No!
And
they made the characters hot and the graphics don't look like ass! Those damn chuds!
Picked this fight because, in a viral tweet, responding to a question about having LGBTQ representation in their game, they said, we care about gaming and fun, not modern agendas. And of course, we saw people angry at that. The same people who were claiming they were going to support 1348 Ex Voto, saying glazing the dude bros is never a good idea. They will hype you up on here, but they will never buy your product. Meanwhile, queer people...
Is that not fucking ironic, man?
People are the ones who make fan art, fanfics, which keep your fandom alive and actually buy and support your products, such a dumb hill to die on, LOL. This tweet, like I said last time, would be perfect if this was an opposite day. Literally everything they're saying is the opposite, right? It's all of the people supporting games like 1348 Ex Voto who do so only in sort of brownie points on Twitter, by tweeting about it and liking tweets about it, but not actually.
And the funniest part is these people aren't even paid actors or like people farming rage bait. They don't even have a blue check mark. They're just saying it because they truly believe this.
Buying the game. And
maybe they had a blue check mark, they could afford the game to support it.
Was forced into a fight with this previous game, is doing just fine. It seems like the dude bros are showing up. The trailer has over 500,000 views with an overwhelming positive reception. In fact, the only thing people are mad about when it comes to this game is that the female characters are too attractive. This made people absolutely lash out on social media because they hated that this character was attractive, unlike the acceptable versions in 1348 Ex Voto. Well, here's what I believe. What I believe is a jab in many ways towards 1348 Ex Voto. Knight's Path just announced that their wish list has now reached 350,000 total requests. 350.
That's a lot. That's a big number.
Ladies and gentlemen, but here's where I think it was a jab. They announced this, instead of using a graphic like they normally do, just like, a screenshot from the game with a thanks for the 350K, they showed proof of this number. The actual wish lists reaching over 350,000. Really, why is that important? Well, this data is not public. This is in the user interface for the developers.
When I lie. That makes me wonder how many, Twitter posts or, PR posts exist where they just straight up lied. It's possible.
The developers can produce these numbers. 1348 Ex Voto, on the day of release, said they crossed 250,000.
But they couldn't even get, more than a couple thousand people playing? Man, me when I lie.
Wish lists, which many people believe
that's a bummer,
was a lie, and they did not provide proof. And people believe that was a way of them lying and trying to increase the hype surrounding the game. But as you can see, Knight's Path did something they haven't done so far with their previous wish list announcements. They actually came out with a screenshot.
I think it was I think it came out on other platforms, or maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure.
Of their internal user face or internal interface showing that number, so there's no room for debate or guessing. They are confirming it. And that is really the cherry on top, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait for this game to come out. I know it's going to get a ton of support, and it's going to be
suck.
Just another round of content, another classic parallel here, which way, Western man? Are you going to support 1348 Ex Voto Absolutely not. Are you going to support Knight's Path, the Chud game?
Listen, 1% bought the game. That's why people are saying it's a fucking lie.
I have a feeling a lot of people
It's like you have 6,000 viewers and only like 10 people are typing. It's like, it's a bit sussy, huh?
going to. But for now, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, feel free to share your
The
thoughts
trailer
about today's
looked good.
topics in the
Yeah, I
comment
don't
section
trust
down below.
trailers though.
Hope you guys enjoyed the
I've
video.
been deceived
And
before.
I'll see you next time.
Yeah, that was a good video. That's really funny.